So like everyone here, I think, has heard about AI agents, like okay, how AI agents are gonna change the world and like the different applications. But it seems like it's like still so early. Like no one, I feel like no one has actually used an AI agent yet. It's like so new, and like the implications of this thing will be like so big in like the next 5 years. Like it's gonna change the society, like how like you had the iPhone and like how you had like internet. And so we are very excited to be working on the frontier of this and like lead this revolution. So what we are doing at Multion is like we are building this AI agents for consumers. So we're building these agents that can go operate websites for you. So they can interact with websites, they can do what you can do, but better and faster. And so this is like a demo where we had the agent go and autonomously book a website end to end. So here we have given the AI a prompt where we have said like, okay, can you go and book a flight from SFO to New York for this date? And what's happening is like the AI is controlling the computer here. So it's end-to-end, like taking over my control of my browser, and then it's going and like navigating to United. So it's first it's going to like Google flights. It's finding like the best flight for this particular prompt. Then it can go to United. It already has access to all my personal details. So it knows my name, it knows my phone number. It also knows my passport number because it's already like something that's already saved in my profile, and it can go and like use it on my behalf. And once it goes to United, then it can like choose my preferred like flight. Like it can choose like whether I want economy, do I want business. It can also choose my seats. So here it's going, and it's going to choose a window seat for me. And so it just like has learned my preferences. So it can just like understand you, almost be like a personal assistant, like how you might have a human executive assistant or a personal assistant. It is something that you can train. And then it like knows all these things about you, what you like, what you don't like. And finally, it also has access to my payment details. So it can actually go and like actually buy me this flight. So we see this as the future of how interactions on the internet will happen. Like instead of you having to spend like time to just like go book a flight, imagine like okay, like you just go on a phone and be like, okay, like can you book me a flight? And this is all happening autonomously in the cloud. You don't even have to see what's happening, and it will happen. And you can imagine like the AI will have access to, it will know about you. It can do things for you. It might also be able to like purchase on your behalf. It might be able to like fill your personal information. And so this is like what we are very excited to build and enable and like launch this as a service that people can start using over this year. Cool. So I'll say large language models, LLMs, they're the present, but agents are the future. And the question that becomes is like, if people have seen like LLMs, there's like already so many like issues. Like there's so many things that can go wrong. They hallucinate, they lie, they will tell you whatever they want to do, but it's very hard to build trust. But if now suppose you have this like autonomous agents that are actually going on your behalf, they're doing transactions, they're buying flights for you, they are like filling in information, they're basically your intermediary. And then you can imagine like there's like so many things that could go wrong, right? And so that's what is like we're trying to solve. Like how do you build like a safe future where like this is something that people don't use for fraud, for example, or they don't use this for like malicious vectors. Like we don't want to go and enable Skynet, right? We want to build something that's actually like useful and doesn't do harm, but allows you to empower humanity in general to be more, amplify our potential and like amplify our productivity. And so this is who we are as a company. So we're building these powerful AI experiences that can handle digital tasks for you in the background and enable this using our products, which are available as developer APIs, which people can plug into, as well as our own consumer-facing applications, such as a mobile app, which will be launching in summer. So when it comes to this kind of agents, we've found that these are really complicated. Like they have like really different like moving parts. It's almost like you're trying to build a computer from scratch. And so you need to like think about like memory. Like how do you as agent remember things about you? Does it have short-term memory? Does it have long-term memory? Can it do planning? Can it take actions for you? And can it operate like tools, like calculators, for example? And so these are like all the different things that you have to think about and build together. And so we like to think about agents, how we're building is like we're trying to build a computer system from scratch, where we have we're thinking about like, okay, like the LLM is something like the control unit that's powering all the logic. And then you have this memory. Then you have this like pieces of like different tools, authentication, actions. And then how can you bring that together as a whole end-to-end experience that anyone can use? And so this is like a really powerful paradigm. We also like to borrow, when we like to think about the systems, we also like to think about them on an autonomy perspective. So I'm not sure if anyone here has driven has sitting in a Waymo. So Waymo is like a level 5 autonomous vehicle. You don't even have to you just sit there, the vehicle will drive itself. So if you go to SF, you can actually go sit in a Waymo car. And so we are thinking about our systems in the same way, that if we can go and build this really powerful systems that are fully autonomous, then you're basically just sitting there, out there for the ride. You're just telling it, okay, I just want you to go do this for me. And then everything happens, and then you get the end result. And so this is what we want to enable. And we like to call this the level 5 automation system, where everything is happening without needing any human intervention. And as I mentioned, this is something that we want to enable on different platforms. So our AI can be present on mobile. You can also use that as on the web platform. So this is a mobile app, which we'll be unveiling in the coming month, where you will be able to just use our AI and ask it, can you go and do whatever you want, basically, on the internet. And that is going to be very different from how you have interacted with technology normally. We have also done a bunch of other demos. So this was one fun one we did last year, where we actually had our agent go and pass the California driving test. So our agent was actually able to go and take the whole driving test online, which composed of 40 plus questions. And so this was an actual live test where the DMV was recording us, and we did this as a attempt to show what's possible. Funnily enough, the DMV actually sent us a driving license at the end of the test. So we hit all the details, but we actually got a full driving license, and the AI actually took the test. So that was really fun. And so we're very excited about building this future. If we can go and enable this autonomous interactions where you don't have to click and type. I just use my voice, I use gestures, and then everything starts happening autonomously. And so I think that becomes the next human interface to technology. If you have a kid and you show a laptop, it's why do I have to use this box? Why does this thing exist, right? Why can't I just have things done for me automatically? And I think that's the future that's going to happen. You don't need you won't need laptops or even computers. You'll just need this AI that's going doing things for you. And we're very excited about unveiling this. So this is actually something that you can also try out today. So we have this playground that you can go to. You can interact with the AI. This is still very early, but you can get an initial experience of how things work. And finally, before wrapping up, I would like to draw this analogy to computers. So this is a tweet from Andre Karpathy, whom many of you might know. And he tweeted about thinking about agents as language model operating systems. So you can think about how you have a normal OS that powers a computer. So similarly, when you have agents, you need to think about them as a new generation of computers. So the LLM, the large language model, that is taking part of the CPU and powering the compute unit to do logic. You have something like a file system, like a disk, which is the memory part, which is remembering things about you. You might have some classical tools like coding, calculators, so on. You might also want to use something like a browser to interact with the different parts of the world. You might want to connect with other LLMs, and you also want different peripheralities. So you might want audio input, you might want video input. And so we see this as the future of AI. So if people were to think about how do you build AGI, we think this is the path towards building something like AGI, where you need to put in all these capabilities together and build these really powerful systems that will become more autonomous and more human-like over time, and at some point might reach superintelligence. Cool. So that was the talk. Thank you.